So after we have uh, understood the different types of cheese and we have seen the various dairy products which are formed, okay. So we know very well in every case microorganisms are the ones which are useful, correct? So we have seen the different dairy products. Similar to that, now let's see some other products also where microorganisms are useful for us. Okay, in this lesson, as you can see now, there are just examples in various processes which you should remember. Okay, okay. So now there are many milk products which contain some active bacteria and which are useful for digestion. We call them as probiotics. Okay, so it's like as a human being in our alimentary canal, in the stomach and the intestine, there are lots of activity which are continuously taking place, and the internal environment in the alimentary canal is generally more of a high temperature type. So lots of other microorganisms, especially bacteria, can thrive in that region. So in short, in our intestine and the gut region, we have good bacteria, we have bad bacteria both. The bad bacteria are the ones which can cause problems. Okay, we cannot eliminate them all, but we can keep their numbers very low so that there are more number of good bacteria always and our system is not affected. That's the reason it becomes necessary to consume certain products like probiotics, which will ensure that the number of good bacteria are in high numbers in our intestine. So example that we have over here, it is, you can see Lactobacillus acidophilus, Lactobacillus casei, Bifidobacterium bifidum, etc. शुरू हो जाओ, बोलो Lactobacillus acidophilus.
Lactobacillus acidophilus.
Correct. Lactobacillus casei.
Lactobacillus casei.
Okay, and Bifidobacterium bifidum.
Bifidobacterium bifidum.
Correct. You have to learn these names. Okay, these microorganisms are useful as probiotics. So till now, okay, including curd, yogurt, butter, cheese, and all we have seen, you can see so many different species of lactobacillus has come into picture, each one having its own property. Correct. So before that you were aware only about lactobacillus, but now you know the different species of lactobacillus and the respective uses. Okay, so the probiotics ultimately they maintain the balance of intestinal microflora. That means the amount of microorganisms in the intestine, and they help in increasing the number of good bacteria in the intestine. So they are probiotics. If you see, they are available in various forms. Lots of different ways in which it is available. There are yogurts which are probiotics, kefir, okay, sauerkraut. There are different countries, they have their own ways of consuming it. Depends upon the texture, consistency, color, the source, the microorganism, etc. Okay, sauerkraut is called as pickle of cabbage. There is a dark chocolate which is available, miso soup, okay, pickles, oils, okay, corn syrup, some artificial sweeteners, even microalgae, paste form, etc. etc. They all can contribute in this main product, that is to increase the intestinal microflora. Okay, to improve the metabolic activity, they improve the immunity, and also they avoid the production of harmful compounds by the bad bacteria. That becomes very necessary. So if you do not consume this kind of probiotics regularly, it can lead to damage to the intestine. And as far as the alimentary canal is concerned, you know very well, there are lots of disorders associated with it. On any given day, if you have a stomach upset, we don't feel comfortable. That is a necessity, right? If your intestine, if your alimentary canal is clean and satisfied, you are content. So the other activities also happen properly. So it all depends on the alimentary canal and the overall metabolism. Okay, that is very necessary. That's why these are the ones that are able to activate the useful microorganisms And sometimes what happens is that there are antibiotics which people might be consuming, some medicines, maybe for some other health reason. So because of the antibiotics, the good bacteria in your system also are killed or inhibited. Okay, so if you are into medication of for some reason, that time it is always necessary that you take probiotics. They activate the useful microbes. Okay, so understood the importance of probiotics, everyone?
Yes.
Okay, with the examples, you have to learn them. Okay. After probiotics, the next one, another milk product, and that is another very common thing in our country, that is bread. Bread is also something which you consume very commonly. You get bread slice, you have bread in the form of that pav. So I don't need to add one more word before pav. You know that very well, right? Yes, Deepali was the first one to understand. So while preparing bread, now here the microorganism that we consume or you use, it is the yeast. Okay, it is a unicellular fungi that is Saccharomyces cerevisiae. Pronounce the name.
Saccharomyces
Saccharomyces
cerevisiae.
cerevisiae.
Correct. That is called as baker's yeast. Okay, so the bread, when it is being prepared, it is the dough which is prepared first. Dough matlab uska aata. Correct. So it is made out of maida or wheat or whatever is there. Different types of breads are available. Correct. So that dough is prepared. Baker's yeast is then added to it, mixed with it. Salt, water, and any other material as per the requirement, it is added. And then the dough is prepared. This is the dough which is prepared. Okay. So when this is prepared, there is fermentation that takes place because the yeast is the one which carries out fermentation. So when the yeast carries out fermentation, there is production of carbon dioxide. Okay, carbon dioxide will be produced, and because of which the carbon dioxide gas will be released out, and the dough becomes bigger and fluffy and soft. That is because of fermentation by yeast. Okay, due to which the bread now becomes spongy. So imagine having that pav. Correct, it is soft and spongy. You don't like to have the kadak one. Correct, so bread becomes spongy because of that. Understood the production of bread properly? So the name of the mechanism which you have to remember for bread, that is baker's yeast, Saccharomyces cerevisiae. Getting it? That is very important. Okay, after bread, the next product is, have you heard about this one, soy sauce?
Yes.
Yes.
Where do you use it? In which products?
Chinese.
Chinese food.
Correct.
Chinese, Japanese.
Chinese and Japanese. Sundar is more experienced, right? So when you have Chinese food products, okay, you go to a Chinese restaurant, you order for noodles, fried rice, and Manchurian, and all these things. Okay, Deepali, relax. Abhirami, relax. Okay, so when you are ordering for this on the table along with your dish, the waiter will also give you this product. एक बॉटल में या कटोरे में soy sauce भी लाके देते हैं, vinegar भी रखा रहते हैं. Correct. This is something you have along with them. Chinese. Actually, I was not aware about Japanese, but Sundar is experienced, so we know that now. Okay, so these products, they consume this. Okay, so here the ingredients are vinegar, okay, soy sauce, and something called Ajinomoto. You know this? This is also a component of Chinese products. Correct. So that is chemically monosodium glutamate. Remember that. So in many popular Chinese food products, okay, these are the ones which are consumed, and that also you get by microbial fermentation. Ajinomoto. To some extent, if you consume that, is good, but in large quantities, it is not very suitable for us. Okay, that is something. Anything in excess is always bad. You can agree with that. So once in a while, if you consume this, it's fine. But if you make it a habit, it is not good for the system. Especially in our country, we cannot have too much of spicy food as such. Okay, because of already the hot weather that we have. So if too much spicy food, if you consume, you know very well what kind of acidity feeling you get. So in Chinese foods and all, this has to be taken care of. So the vinegar, Okay, vinegar is simply acetic acid. Okay, the soy sauce and Ajinomoto, that is monosodium glutamate, because of which you get very delicious Chinese products. Getting it? Okay, yes, I like the expression. Okay, so after this, again, you have to know that there are microorganisms involved. So let us take a look at how vinegar is produced. Okay, so here, when you talk about vinegar, it is very commonly used as one of the ingredients in food preparation in many countries. Okay, here also in the markets also, if you see, you will get vinegar available. While preparing food dishes and all, you can use that, correct? जैसे वो होता है ना अपना olives, you get that olives in the market, cut olives. So they are stored in vinegar. Okay, so that you can use for making dishes. So it imparts sourness to the food products. So chemically speaking, that vinegar is nothing but 4% acetic acid. And vinegar is also a very good preservative. Okay, so it is useful for preserving pickles, sauce, ketchup, some chutneys, etc. So that you get that characteristic taste. Is that clear? Okay, so when you talk about vinegar, the first important thing that happens is fermentation, by which you get ethanol. Okay, ethanol is the fermentation which you it's a product which you get out of fermentation in animal cells. So that ethanol is produced, and then there are carbon compounds. How do you get that product ethanol? When there are carbon compounds like fruit juices or maple syrup, sugar molasses, root starch, this kind of carbohydrate compounds you take and you ferment that with yeast. That is Saccharomyces cerevisiae. So when this is added to yeast and fermented, you get ethanol by fermentation. Okay, it is the fermentation production. In the earlier ones that we saw, it was lactic acid production. Here it is ethanol production. Okay, any such organic source one can prefer. So once you get that, you are adding a mixture of bacterial strains with the ethanol produced. So the bacterial strains that are added over here is Acetobacter and Glucanobacter. These two are the ones which are preferred for vinegar production. Okay, so pronounce the names: Acetobacter,
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 Glucanobacter.
Glucanobacter.
Okay, so to that ethanol which is produced, you are adding these bacterial strains. There will be microbial degradation that will take place, which will be followed by production of acetic acid and other byproducts. Okay, so from the ethanol, you get acetic acid. Okay, and then the next thing is, this is a common compound or a mixture that you get, which contains acetic acid and other byproducts, out of which you want only acetic acid, because that is the one which will go into formation of vinegar. So you will take that acetic acid, separate it out, and the process which is used for separation is called rarefaction. That is based on density separation. It is done in the industrial level. Okay, on the density basis, they are separated. You get acetic acid separately. Then the acetic acid undergoes bleaching. That means there is a losing of color. For that, the compound added is potassium ferrocyanide. Okay, potassium ferrocyanide say acetic acid is bleached, and then there is pasteurization of the acetic acid which is done. Okay, as I told you for milk, the similar way pasteurization is done over here also. And then finally, from that pasteurized product, there is a very small quantity of sulfur dioxide gas which is passed through this pasteurized acetic acid, finally leading to the formation of vinegar. Okay, so in the process of formation of vinegar, there are many steps involved. The first thing is collecting the basic source, the carbohydrate source, whether it is a fruit juice or syrup or molasses or whatever. Once that is selected, you add yeast, fermentation will take place, ethanol will be produced. To that ethanol, you add the bacterial strains, microbial degradation will happen. There will be a production of acetic acid with other byproducts. You don't want the other byproducts, you want the acetic acid. So you separate the acetic acid by a process called rarefaction. To that acetic acid, you carry out bleaching, for which potassium ferrocyanide is used. That bleached acetic acid is then pasteurized. After the pasteurization is done, you pass very little quantity of sulfur dioxide gas. Then the final product which you get is vinegar, which is basically 4% acetic acid. Okay, so next time, whenever you go to any Chinese restaurant and you're ordering for dishes and you're consuming vinegar, you can recollect all the steps that were taken place in the formation of this product. Is that clear? Understood how microbes are useful over here? Correct? So they're all produced industrially. That's why you get different brands of vinegar in the market. Okay, so the taste of one brand of vinegar differs from the other because of the difference in the source. If it is like made from apple juice, you will get a different taste of vinegar. If you are preparing it from the root starch, you will get a slightly different taste. That's how you get the various taste. Okay, that was about vinegar. Okay, here it goes, soy sauce. This we have seen just a few minutes back. So this soy sauce is prepared by mixture of flour of wheat or rice. मतलब गेहूं या चावल का आटा. That along with soybean, you know soybean. Okay, these are mixed together, made into a flour, and then you add the fungus. Okay, so you can imagine for dairy products, there are bacteria required. For vinegar, there is yeast which is required. For soy sauce, you need a fungus, which is Aspergillus oryzae. This one. This is added to the flour. Fermentation takes place by which you get soy sauce. Okay, so किसको add करते हैं fungus? Mixture of the flour of wheat or rice and soybean. That's why it is called soy sauce. So tell the name of the fungus, Aspergillus oryzae. Bolo.
Aspergillus oryzae.
Okay, this is used for preparing soy sauce. Okay, all these examples you have to remember. Now this is a table which is directly given in your textbook, the same thing I have shown over here. Okay, this is something you have to learn. So there are something called beverages. Beverages means any such drink which you can consume. Usko beverage. Tea, coffee is also beverage. Okay, so in daily life we consume lots of different types of beverages. There are basically two categories of beverages, alcoholic and non-alcoholic. Okay, normally we consume the non-alcoholic ones. Alcoholic occasionally as adults you can consume and once in a while. It should not become an addiction. But ultimately for the formation of these beverages, you need microorganisms. So this table is giving you a summary. Okay, from which different fruits, using which different microorganisms, okay, and how that microorganisms are able to help in the formation of that beverage, ultimately giving rise to which beverage. This table tells you everything. So you have to learn these as examples. Okay, for example, the first one, I guess there is a spelling mistake. It is Coffea arabica. See, can check in your textbooks also. If it is written Caffea, then make it Coffea, C-O. Okay, it is not Caffea, it is Coffea. Coffea arabica. That's the name of the fruit or the plant, coffee plant. Okay, Coffea arabica. To this, now here you are taking the seeds and the beans. Ye dekho coffee beans, fruits and seeds. To the fruits and the seeds of coffee, you are adding this microorganism called Lactobacillus brevis. Tell the name.
Lactobacillus
Brevis. Okay. This microorganism is added to the fruits and the seeds so that you're separating the seeds from the fruit, and then you crush the beans, you get that powder, which is the coffee. Do you have coffee? Anybody has the habit of having coffee? Harsha? कॉफी पीते हो कि चाय पीते हो या अभी तक शुरू नहीं किया है? Nothing.
Okay, कभी कभी.
कभी कभी. Okay, good. So coffee is okay. Tea, coffee, it's not that it is bad for the health or something. So sometimes it's okay. Anything in addiction is always bad. That's the only thing. But you know very well, coffee plants are very coffee, different brands आते हैं, filter coffee आते हैं, है ना, non-filter वाले आते हैं. Many brands are there and they have their own taste. In India, which is the state which produces maximum amount of coffee?
आसाम, कर्नाटका, केरला.
It is Karnataka. Coffee plantation के लिए Karnataka. Assam is for tea. Assam and Kerala are for tea. Karnataka is the one which produces maximum coffee. Mysore region, you know that. Okay. Then second one now. This is a fruit called Theobroma cacao. Cocoa plant. You know cocoa? The natural
Yes.
chocolate. है ना, ये उसके fruits है, उसके seeds है, देखना. Theobroma cacao. Tell the name.
Theobroma coca.
Okay, उसके seeds होते हैं. This is something you get naturally lots of it in Kerala. केरला में बहुत अच्छे कोको प्लांट्स मिलते हैं. I remember I was in college during my second year or third year में. We had been for a study tour to Kerala. And वहाँ हम लोग को स्पाइस गार्डन वगैरह घुमाने लेकर गए थे. Like because I was from the botany background. Okay, so we were shown the cocoa plant and the owner plucked the cocoa fruit in front of us. उसको कट करके उसका पल्प हमें टेस्ट करना. It was literally like chocolate. So whenever possible, try that. Okay. So Abhiram is telling next time surely we'll go to Kerala, right? So to this cocoa plant, to the fruits, you will add these microorganisms. Okay. एक एक करके pronounce करो. Candida. बोलो.
Candida.
Candida.
Hansenula.
Hansen.
Chia.
Chia.
Saccharomyces, you know that.
Saccharomyces.
Okay. So when these microbes are added to cocoa fruit, the fruits get separated from the seeds and you get the chocolate drink that is cocoa, which is again microbes are useful over here. Okay. Then for grapes and apple, they are again very common fruits. We consume them raw, we consume them in the form of juice, but you get the fermented one also. The fruit juices are collected. These microorganisms, that is the yeast which is added, Saccharomyces cerevisiae, and to that grape juice, when the fermentation is carried out, you get the respective beverage. These two are examples of alcoholic beverage. So when the grapes and the apple juice is fermented, you get beverages like wine or cider, which are alcoholic ones. In India, maximum grape production takes place where? Very popular place for grapes.
Nashik.
It is Nashik, correct. Yes. Nashik ke angur, बहुत famous है ना? Okay, so there are many good wine factories over there. So if you visit that place, you will see there are big fermenters which are kept. The grape juices are collected. Okay, they are introduced into the fermenter and they are allowed to ferment with yeast. The more the fermentation takes place, the more rich the wine will be. Okay, and like that you can get many other beverages besides this. As per your textbook, these four you have to learn. So learn the names of the microbes, okay, and learn the names of the beverage also, which is obtained. These are just examples which you have to learn. Is it clear, everyone? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So after this industrial products that we have seen, okay. So now the next thing is about something called microbial enzymes. You know what are enzymes? This word is a very common one, you know that. What is an enzyme? In one word, if I want to describe any enzyme, It is nothing but a biocatalyst. Biocatalyst means they are produced within the cell and they work as a catalyst. That means they do not themselves take part in any chemical reaction, but their presence will influence the speed of a reaction. Then it is called as a catalyst. So especially, for example, you recollect respiration, glycolysis, Krebs cycle, all those points we have seen. So there are many stages of respiration involved, many steps. Every step, every conversion involves the presence of an enzyme. And there are many enzymes which you get from microorganisms. That is what you are going to see in this part. Okay. So microorganisms, okay, when they are able to become a very good source of enzymes, these enzymes are preferred in the industries as compared to artificially created chemical catalyst. As much as possible, we prefer a natural source. And enzymes are very sensitive to pH and temperature. So all the enzymes, they work best at an optimum range of pH and temperature. If the pH fluctuates, the enzymes won't work. If the temperature fluctuates, they won't work. So for obtaining microbial enzymes, the instruments which are required in the industries have to be need not be erosion proof as compared to production of chemical catalyst. For production of chemical catalyst, you need very sophisticated instruments and energy using ones. For microbial ones, you don't need that much. Okay, and when microbial enzymes are produced and isolated, there are no unnecessary byproducts produced. So that's the reason the purification and the isolation of such products become easy when it is obtained from microorganisms. They are comparatively more pure, easy to isolate. So because there are not much of the byproducts, so the amount of waste material generated is also very less. So there is elimination and decomposition of waste materials are avoided automatically. Okay, that becomes useful, and microbial enzymes can be reused, unlike the chemical ones. That's why they are more eco-friendly. So you are able to reduce the amount of waste and you are able to reduce the amount of harmful byproducts. Ultimately good for the environment. Now it's the time we have to think about environment at any cost. Correct? So these are some places where you can think about it. So you can remember the names of certain microbial enzymes. Just remember the names. You don't have to go into the details of what is the role of each enzyme and all. So here you have oxidoreductases, transferases, okay, hydrolases, lyases, isomerases, ligases, etc. The list of enzymes are endless. But the main point you have to remember is when you say microbial enzymes, they are produced as a result of microbial activity. Microbes are producing these enzymes within their cells. Okay, and these are the ones which are examples. Okay, understood about microbial enzymes? Okay, say this. Now, this product, that is detergents, common one which we use in our everyday life. Again, there are many brands available. You see a lot of ads in the TV, right? Ziti Dag and all. They show a lot of action. Ki pura dirt वगैरह निकाल के फेंक देगा करे. Correct? So these detergents which you consume in your daily life, their job is to clean the cloth and remove all possible dirt or muck or stains. Okay, so for which the detergent should have the respective enzymes, so that whatever dirt or muck is there on the cloth, the enzymes will react with that material and degrade it. So that's why mixing of enzymes in the detergents become necessary, and these enzymes are obtained from microorganisms. Okay, so this is one application of microbial enzymes. Okay, then you know very well glucose and fructose syrup you can get from corn flour. Okay, so corn flour means makke ka aata, you know, corn. Okay, from that corn flour, which contains mainly starch, you can get glucose and fructose syrup. So there are enzymes which are obtained from bacilli and streptomyces, which you can add to the corn flour, and you can get glucose and fructose syrup. They are useful in various places, like in production of various sweets and confectionaries, you can use this. Okay, and other way in which you can use microbial enzymes are, they are used in industries like cheese, okay, plant extracts, pigments and all, textile industry, leather industry, paper industry. ये सब जगह पे microbial enzymes use होते हैं. That's why when microbial enzymes are useful in lots of such applications, you can very well obtain them in the industrial level, okay, by fermentation process using these microorganisms. Is that clear, everyone?
Yes.
Okay, then similarly you also have something called organic acid production. Organic acid means carbon containing acid compounds which you get from natural sources. Okay, this one we can just discuss for today and we can stop. So there are various sources, natural ones, as you can see. Okay, most often it is the corn's liquor, glucose, sugar molasses, okay, beet molasses, in which you can treat with the respective microorganisms. जैसे हमने beverages के लिए देखा, same way. This table is again given in your textbook, the same one. Okay, and these microbes are used, the corresponding amino acid or the organic acid is produced. I guess there's a mistake in the word. Here you can replace it with organic acid instead of amino acid. Check in your textbook. अगर amino acid लिखा है तो change करो, it is organic acid. Okay, carbon containing compounds. And each of these organic acids, where they are used in our daily life, that is mentioned over here. So all types of drinks, toffees, chocolates, supplements, okay, vitamins, paper industry, textile industry, gum production, all these acids are useful. Okay, so quickly tell the names of the microbes. Brevibacterium. Bolo.
Brevibacterium.
Okay, you get the organic acid called L-glutamic acid, which is useful for production of that Ajinomoto, Chinese dishes we have seen. Okay, similarly, the other one is Coryn bacterium. Again, there is a spelling mistake. Instead of this O, Coryn, N के बाद E आएगा, not O. C-O-R-Y-N-E, Coryn bacterium. That is also used for the production of glutamic acid. Okay, then the next one, Aspergillus niger. Bolo.
Aspergillus
Aspergillus niger.
That's a fungus. Okay, this you will use to produce citric acid and gluconic acid. So you are using it to produce toffees, drinks, chocolates, minerals, supplements, etc. Okay, this you have already seen, Lactobacillus delbrueckii. Okay, yeah, already bola humne, right? So they are useful for nitrogen and vitamin production. And the last one you can remember, Aspergillus itaconius. Bolo.
Aspergillus
Aspergillus
itaconius.
Okay, this is useful for production of itaconic acid. Okay, which is useful in paper, textile, plastic industry, gum production, etc. So that means there are many industries like this producing economically important products which are useful for which microorganisms are useful. Okay, there is something called xanthan gum, which is produced by fermenting starch and molasses with Xanthomonas species. Now, Xanthomonas is a bacteria. So they are useful in various types of food products, in confectionery and drinks. You have to remember this also. So when Xanthomonas is used for fermenting starch and molasses, you get the product called xanthan gum, which is useful for production of this kind of food products. Chocolates, drinks, confectionaries, soups. Okay, you get various brands of soup in the market. Powder milta hai, you just have to add water and boil it. Okay, and this kind of sweet products also. Okay, Abhiram is not able to look at the slides anymore. He is very hungry. Okay, ye dekho. Another example, xanthan gum. ये और भी डेयरी प्रोडक्ट्स के लिए यूज करते हैं। ओके, प्रोडक्शन ऑफ वेरियस पिगमेंट्स, कलर्स, ओके, फर्टिलाइजर्स, you have weedicides to kill the weeds, textile pigments, various colors of clothes in the market. Correct? When you go to buy clothes from the market, shop वाले को बोलते हैं ना भैया और colors नहीं है आपके पास. Correct? So toothpaste, right? High quality paper, all these industries, they require these products ultimately, which depended upon microorganisms. These examples also you can remember. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay, so like that we will see. Okay, just one more quickly we can see. ये भी देखो, there are different substances which are obtained by microbial processing. Okay, and they have their own role for imparting acidity or protein binding, antioxidant, edible colors, emulsifier. Emulsifier का मतलब है when there are big fat molecules which are broken down into tiny ones, so it becomes easy for digestion. उसको emulsifier बोलते हैं. Okay, there are fruit essence which are available, artificial sweeteners, all these types of different economically, industrially important compounds. Okay, which are produced by microbial processing. So all these just examples you have to learn. You don't need to go into the details of each. Just you have to remember which substance is obtained by microbial processing and what is their necessary role. This table again you have to learn. The same is given in your textbook. Is that clear? Okay.
Yes.
So with that, we have seen lots of examples where microorganisms are useful in different types of food industry. Okay, different types of beverages, organic acid production, economically important industrial products, and examples of microorganisms which are useful for that. Okay, so we will stop here for today. In the next lecture, we will see the further uses, how microorganisms are useful in the health industry. Okay, then in the ecological sector to clean up the environment. Lots of examples are there that we will see in the next lecture, and probably in the next turn itself we are going able to complete the lesson, because we have to just take a look at these examples. If not next, then maybe 2 more lectures, but the lesson will get over. Okay, how do you find this lesson now? Yes, I can understand everybody has become very hungry suddenly. Correct? Yes, no problem. Enjoy the food. Okay, so we'll meet soon. We'll meet next time. Okay, bye everyone. Good night.